see when two debutantes really kind of see what happens after the first exchange. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
No, absolutely.
Strickland looks to be the longer fighter as they enter the cage.
Yeah,
This Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Revolve Real Estate. In an elimination welterweight bout that is 3 rounds by 3 minutes, folks. In the red corner, we are going to have Bryant Ireland. Or excuse me, Antonino Calabro.
These guys have not taken their eyes off each other. They're fired up. Let's see how it translates to the fight.
And Tyrell Strickland representing Warrior Built MMA out of Pueblo, Colorado. He is not even up against the fence. He's halfway across the cage already here, Cody. These boys are ready to go. Referee Yoel Ojeda is about to get this action underway. And we are set.
Ooh, right across.
Right away, we are getting after it.
Hand. Tyrell wants to get his hips away.
That is dangerously close to an illegal knee right there out of the clinch.
Absolutely. You see these guys come right out the gate, throwing hard, you know, and I think part of that's just being under the lights. We'll see if they re-engage as quick as they did. Again, yes.
Oh, and that is a massive overhand by Antonino.
Big leg kick. These guys are throwing
Strickland
hard.
cracks back.
Is that low?
And it looks like we have another cup shot. Make that 3 for 3, Cody.
3 for 3. Part of this is just that nervous energy. You know, I really feel like that's part of the reason these guys keep getting these low blows. They're getting these crazy exchanges. They haven't been under the lights. They haven't had that exposure, that experience. So when they get in these exchanges, they're just throwing everything they can, punches, kicks, hands, whatever it is. And that's when you get into these situations where a guy gets hit low or an eye poke or something like that. You know, these guys need to maybe slow it down a little bit. And it's hard because you've never been there before, but slow it down. Try to be composed, right? These guys are coming out, throwing everything they can in the first 30 seconds, and then we'll see how that plays out come round 2 or 3.
What? Absolutely. You know, these two guys right away out of the gate, they look like that cartoon image of two dogs that get into a fight. You just see a dust cloud.
Absolutely. Neither one's willing to take a back step. They're like two trains just running into each other.
And they're both hitting each other, and they're both hitting each other hard. They both found their mark, and that's a strong right hand off of the low kick for Tyrell Strickland right there.
He teeped to the body there. I think that might have hurt Antonio to the body.
And
big
strong
uppercut. And he's in close to the distance. This is smart by Antonio to get to that clinch. He tries to step through and hit the trip. Now he's against the cage. He needs to win the head position here, and he's cut open.
We've got blood.
I think it was that uppercut.
I think that you're right there, Cody. You know, I can't see exactly where it's coming. Is it a cut that split open, or is that out of the nose?
I believe it's the nose. I can't tell from here, but I think the uppercut may have busted his nose here.
And the beautiful spot of being right underneath the action when blood is pouring. We are getting splashed left and right, ladies and gentlemen. But great head position battle right now from Antonino.
Big
and
strike,
he's great with his dirty boxing right now. He's being very effective with his strategy at this moment.
He needs to roll his head and win the head position. Here you see the strength of the powerlifter, and this is what I'm talking about. How does it translate? Moving bodies isn't moving weights or dumbbells, right? So he needs to get his hips underneath him. Now Tyrell's in a better position. He's going to try to walk into the cage, use his leverage here. He's the longer, taller fighter.
And as far as the strength game goes, Cody, it does not look like Strickland is giving up too much here. He looks like a big, strong man himself.
Absolutely. And I just think it's like I said, it's different. You know, powerlifting, fighting, those two things are very different in terms of how they're going to translate. You're moving bodies, you're not moving dumbbells. Tyrell needs to roll his head here and try to get the head position. And Antonino needs to do the same thing. Whoever can win this head position is gonna win this fight on the wall.
And this is the Colorado Combat Club 6. We are in our third bout of the evening. It is an elimination welterweight bout.
Looks like we lost a mouthpiece here. Tyrell's mouthpiece is out.
And that is Tyrell Strickland in the black trunks. And you have Antonino Calabro in the American flag. Brief stoppage in the action from referee Yoel.
Tyrell seems to be landing the harder, sharper strikes, especially off the break. Antonino seems to be getting hurt. Big kick.
That is a good 1-2 right there.
Right, that's why you need to throw things before your kick. You need to get your head off the line or you're going to eat that 1-2. These guys
and what a lively last 10 seconds. Now, I will say this. Antonino Boleto threw a lot in that exchange, and he landed, but I do believe that Tyrell Strickland got the better of that exchange right there in the short time clapper.
No, for sure, and part of that is, like I said, they're getting in these nervous energy exchanges, right? Antonino has his head down, he's looking at the ground, and he's just swinging as hard as he can. He needs to find the target, maybe take 30% off, much like the last fight. Take 30% off your shots, right? You're missing with 120% power. Land with 70% power, you'll do more damage because you're landing, and you're not gassing yourself out. He needs to find the target and aim. These guys are looking at the ground and swinging haymakers. You know, this isn't the bar, right? You're in the lights, you're in the cage. This is a real fight, and these guys are moving. You know, Tyrell's doing a job of moving his head and countering and getting out the way, and Antonino's just putting his head down and swinging as hard as he can.
And Cody, I think you made a great point right there. This is where the sport, where the technique, where that stuff comes into play. This is not a street fight.
Absolutely. You know, you need to bring your skills, just like sparring. Just because you're under the lights, you know, it needs to be the same thing you're doing. Your techniques and the drills that you do, they need to translate to here.
And underway with the second round. That is a strong left jab with the right overhand from Antonino. Antonino goes for the takedown, but in the scramble, he ends up on his back, and then now they are back to their feet. Good scramble by Strickland.
That's that explosive power from Antonino. You see him be able to power up through there.
And Cody, let's just take a look at the damage factor that's going on right now. We do see a mouse that's starting to build up underneath Antonino's right eye. So that means that left hand is finding its mark a lot from Strickland.
For sure. His nose is busted. Both his eyes look to be getting mouses underneath. And he needs to look where he's throwing. He's throwing his head down. And Tyrell's doing a good job of landing that uppercut.
And you are right. I did not see the right eye when you mentioned it, but as soon as he turned around, yep. Oh, there's another big right hand by Strickland. How many more can Antonino take of that?
I mean, he just keeps coming forward. You know, he's walking him down. That was a good body shot there.
He's living up to that Shinjitai slaughterhouse toughness, that's for sure.
Absolutely. He needs to work the head position here, try to lock his hands, maybe go below the butt, lock the hands for a double. He seems to be struggling with the length of Tyrell because Tyrell's able to get the leverage to pull him up and stop the takedown. Antonino needs to drop to the legs and work for his takedown from there.
Yes, I believe he's way too high to be effective for this takedown right now in this position. If he can drop his level down and really work for that double and secure the hands underneath the hips, I do have to apologize, folks, because the camera stand is right directly in my way, so I'm not seeing the best angle. However, it is still a very advantaged position for Antonino right here. And it looks like there's a strong whizzer from Strickland. Is that correct, Cody? You have a little bit of a better angle.
He's biting down on the whizzer, but he's facing the opposite way. Neither guy's really trying to win the head position. Whoever can win the head position here, and by that I mean roll their head under the chin, is going to...
And damage off of the break right there.
Yes, for sure.
You know, Cody, oftentimes we see, especially at this level, guys break from a clinch and they just kind of stay passive. I feel like that's a major missed opportunity for a lot of fighters. And it looks like we have another, oh, guess not. I thought for a second we might have had a fence grab.
And you were able to see there, Antonino was finally able to get below the butt. He was able to lock his hands on the legs, and he was able to finish his takedown. I think that's going to need to be his game plan moving forward. Going up high and trying to finish this high body lock is just not going to work.
And he's in a pretty good
He's in a very dominant position here. Tyrell doesn't really seem to be making frames or working for this position. Now he's in the mount. He needs to posture up and do as much damage as he can here. He needs to strike and do damage. 10 seconds left. He can seal this round right here. And he's doing damage.
Now I believe this is where we're seeing he's going to get, and saved by the bell.
Listen, if I'm in Antonino's corner, I'm telling him, listen, come out, throw your jab, throw your right hand, keep your head up and shoot below the waist. Get to the legs. Let's get back to that position because it seemed to be on the feet. at least for now, it seems Tyrell has the advantage. He's longer, he's landing the harder shots. But when it got to the ground, you were able to see Antonino really take over and almost finish the fight.
And that's where I think we got to see a little bit of the inexperience factor, if you will. And once again, folks, keep in mind that this is this man's debut fight. But as far as when we're looking at trying to get up from that full mount position, he was just kind of circling from side to side instead of trying to get to a hip, start shrimping his way out to recollect his guard.
For sure, a lot of people when they're mounted, they cover up, right? Or they strike from the bottom. That's not the option that you want. You need to make your frames. You might have to take 1 or 2 shots to get out, but regardless, you're going to get hit there. If you cover up, you're going to get hit. If you try to strike, you're going to get hit. So work your frames. Work to create space so that you can come up and out of the position.
And that's something that you don't see every day. Referee Yoel Ojeda just had to take the tag off of one of his shorts. And we could very well be at a 50-50 ball game right here.
I think we are. I think Calabro needs to work his blend. He needs to show a level change. He needs to show his wrestling.
We're seeing some fatigue factors from each of these guys, but I'll tell you what, as far as looking like a dog in the pocket, it's hard to argue against what Antonino's presence is.
For sure. Both these guys are definitely willing to throw down. So here, he needs to drop below the butt, and here he goes. You see he's making the adjustment. He's below the butt. He's trying to lock his hands here, and if he can get this takedown, I think we might be looking at a dominant position for
I agree. I would like to see him switch to the single right here.
He has. He switched to the single. It'll be interesting to see how he tries to finish. If he tries to go for a big lift, and he does. This is the power lifter. That's a cage grab. And this is going to be huge for this fight. Okay, this is going to be huge.
This could very well be a deciding factor.
Okay, and this is the second time we've seen this tonight. So once again, folks, the rule is, these guys were warned backstage. The new rule in Colorado is if you grab the fence, there's not going to be a warning in cage. You're going to lose a point immediately. We saw it earlier, and now we're seeing it again.
And just so everybody out there knows, fighters have been warned multiple times as far as this new rule change.
Big overhand right
down with a massive overhand. And Strickland is stiff right there from the firefighter, Antonino, Colorado. What a finish, folks. Beautiful right there. And that was the Usman call from Jeremy Kimball right there. You see that there was a lot of emotion in that right there from Coach Jeremy Kimball. You have to just tip your cap to all the work that these guys put in for so long. But also, as we look over to the fly fishing doc, Alex Constantinides, he's over the top of Strickland, just making sure that he's okay and in good spirits. Strickland is now sitting up, and he looks to be alert. First and foremost, fighter first promotion, we want to make sure he's healthy.
Oh, for sure. These guys are amateurs. You don't want to see anybody take long-term damage, and you're happy to see him up. And they're kind of telling him what happened. You got caught. It happens. That's that power. And maybe that's where it translates. Maybe that's where the powerlifting power translates. When he caught him on the chin, he was missing. He had his head down the whole time, swinging those big, wild overhands. He wasn't connecting. And then he connects and puts him down and finishes the fight. He was getting... It seemed like he was getting outclassed on the feet for the majority of the fight, but that's the difference in power, right? He was getting hit clean, he wasn't getting finished. He landed clean, he finished the fight.
100%. Now, Cody, so far through 3 fights, that's my leading candidate thus far for fight of the night.
Oh, for sure. It was very back and forth. I think it was 1-1 going into that 3rd round, and he pushed through and was able to get a finish, and it was a KO. He was out. And the ref got in there and stopped it before too much damage could be done. But it was a clean right hand in a fight that was very close leading up to that one.
Absolutely. And I think that was a phenomenal stoppage also by referee Yoel Ojeda. Didn't let these amateurs take too much damage when it comes to a finish like that.
For sure. These guys aren't getting paid. You don't want them to take a bunch of damage.
Definitely. Now let's see what Mr. Antonino has to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Mr. Antonino, Calabro!
Well, Cody, he told us that he wanted to come in and have a war.